Hi everyone, welcome to this week's lesson. We're on lesson number 8. In this week's lesson we are going to add a style section to the head section of the HTML document. The style section is a little bit cleaner than using inline styles, which we did in our last lesson, and it's very close to actually having style sheets. Style sheets we're going to cover in the next couple of lessons. We are also going to add your image. So you'll get to choose whatever animal you want to represent you at the zoo. We'll add that image to your header. We'll clean up the header a little bit, give it some color, and kind of just make the banner look real nice on your page. And then in the next couple of lessons, if you choose to, you'll be able to actually upload it to the Coding Zoo website. And then if you want, you can show your friends and family, etc. So that should be pretty cool, right, buddy?
Yes.
Yep. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Coding Zoo. This is Shane, and I have my son Nicholas with me.
Hello.
And I also have my daughter Jai with me.
Hi.
So in our last lesson at the Coding Zoo, we learned about divs and span and a couple of HTML5 tags, header and main and section. Today at the Coding Zoo, we're going to learn how to make our header look a little bit more stylish, add some style to it. And we're also going to add an image of an animal. You had a homework assignment of actually going and picking out an image. You should have downloaded and saved that to your Coding Zoo images folder. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and pause the video and do that now. Before we get started though, I wanted us to have the opportunity to switch editors. So as we code more and more, NotePad is harder to read, and I'd recommend you move to something a little bit more powerful. Let's try NotePad++. So very quickly, before we get started, go to Google, and at Google type in NotePad, N-O-T-E-P-A-D, ++, press enter, and you should see the first entry, NotePad++ home. Click on that, and it takes you to the Notepad++ site. So you should see a, on the left side, you should see a link to download. Click on the download link. So go ahead and click the download button. Once it's downloaded, you can double click on it to run it, and just follow the standard next buttons until it's installed. Go ahead and pause the video while you do that. Okay, welcome back. You should have the Notepad++ installed. Right, I'm going to go to the Coding Zoo folder, double click on it. I'm going to go to the index.html file. I'm going to double click on it. Actually, I'm going to right click on that. Choose Edit with Notepad++. If you don't see that option, you can go to Open With and then choose another app, and you should be able to find it inside of there. You guys caught up?
Yes.
All right. Now, if you look at your file in Notepad++, you should see lines going down from one begin tag to the end tag of a given element. So the head tag here has a line going down to the end tag for head. This is one of the things I love about Notepad++. It helps you to line up your elements correctly. So if you haven't lined them up correctly, you can go ahead and pause the video and do so. It's easier to read once you line them up. Also, one thing I really like about Notepad++ is once you do have them lined up and everything is nice and neat, you can actually click on the minus square over here and close off sections of your document. So click on minus, and you'll notice that I just closed the header section. Click on the plus, and I just opened it again. So it makes it really easy to just see parts of your document. So it's pretty nice. Also, if you notice the coloring, HTML elements have one color, and the attributes have another color. So that's very helpful also. Okay, so Let's go ahead and get started with our HTML lesson now that we have NotePad++ installed. Let's begin lesson 8. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new element to the head tag. Not the header tag, but the head tag. So go up to the top of your document and right below your title, press enter and add a new line underneath title. And I want you to type in the HTML element called style. So less than STYLE, greater than sign. Then we'll press enter. Press enter again, and I'm going to put the ending tag for style. Less than / STYLE, and then the greater than sign. So now inside of my head element, I have the HTML element style. So in our last lesson, lesson 7, we learned about inline styles using the style attribute on an HTML element. This is another way of specifying styles. This is closer to having style sheets. In our next couple of lessons, I'll show you how to create a style sheet. So in this style section, instead of us continuing to add inline styles, we're going to go ahead and put a definition of certain styles in the style section. Let's go ahead and do that. Go to the line in the middle of that style element, and let's add a definition of a style. So there are different ways to define a style in CSS. We're going to define it using an element name. So the element name we're going to use is header. So type in header, H-E-A-D-E-R. So header refers to the header tag that is in your HTML document. So you should have a header tag, and inside that header tag you should have like a description. I have Shane's Coding Zoo introduction. So we're basically telling this style block that we're going to put a style that is for that header. This is called an element CSS selector. So you have the word header, space, put a open squiggly bracket, a closing squiggly bracket, put your cursor in the middle of those two brackets, press enter twice. Now go to the line in the middle of those two squiggly brackets. I'm going to tab out, and now I'm going to put a style. So I want background, BACK, GROUND, dash color, COLOR. So remember, styles are name and value. Name, colon, value. My value is going to be, I'm going to use black, BLACK. You can use whatever color you want. Semicolon. So it's name, colon, value, semicolon. So there we have it. I have one line that defines a style on the CSS selector header. So it'll actually define the style on the header element. Click File, click Save. If you haven't opened your page up yet, go back to your folder, Coding Zoo, right click on index.html, choose Open With, choose Google Chrome or your browser. And now you should see your header section is all a background color of whatever color you specified. I specified black. Okay, so in my case, it's all black, but guess what? I can't see my title anymore. It's a different color. So I'm going to go back to my NotePad++. Okay, so we added the header style with the background color. Now I'm going to add a style for my title. So header is called a element CSS selector. I'm going to create what's called a class CSS selector. So I'm going to define a CSS class. So go to your header tag in your style section. Underneath the closing squiggly bracket, go ahead and press, after that, press enter. Let's start a new line and type in, I want to name my class something. I'm going to name it title. So type in TITLE space. Open squiggly bracket, close squiggly bracket. Put your cursor in the middle of the squiggly bracket, press enter. Do it again. Go to the line in between the two squiggly brackets, tab out, and let's put a new style property there for title. I'm going to put color, COLOR, colon, space, yellow, YELLOW, semicolon, to close that off. Okay, so I have title, open squiggly bracket, and then inside of that I have color, colon, yellow, semicolon, and then I have a closing squiggly bracket. I almost forgot a key point. So the header style above is for defining styles for a given element, or for an element called header. So I'm doing an element CSS selector. Title is going to be a class CSS selector. It starts out with a period. So go to the left side of your T and add a period. So dot title. So dot title are for class names. So dot and then a name is for class names. Without a dot, it's actually specifying a HTML element. Header is pointing to the header element. Dot title is defining a class name. So now go down to your H1 tag inside of your header. Put your cursor on the right side of the 1. Press space. Type in class. CLASS equals double quote TITLE for title, and then another double quote. Now choose File and Save. So we towed the H1 element to use the styling class that we defined, and it's called title. Go to your browser, click refresh, and now your text should be the color you specified, in my case, yellow. So you'll notice that my text is right next to the side of the black header. It's very, very close to the edge. There's no padding. There's no space from between Shane and the edge. So let's add another style for that. So go back to your style section and let's go to header. And then the line underneath background dash color, type in padding, PADDING, colon, and put space. I want to put 5 pixels. 5px. Don't forget your semicolon. Choose File, choose Save. Go to your browser, click refresh, and boom. Now you have extra space. You have padding. Okay, so now we have space separating my text from the edges of my header, my black header. You'll notice the black header has a bunch of white space around it. I don't like that. Like if you look at the top of the header, it has white space. If you look at the left of the header, the black header, it has white space. I want to get rid of that white space. So let's do this. Go back to your index.html. Now in your style section, well, I want to change a style property of body. So I believe that white space could be caused because we have a default margin or padding inside the body. So I'm going to go into my style section. I'm going to add a element CSS selector for body. So type in body, BODY, space, squiggly bracket, in squiggly bracket. I'm going to take that to the next line, go to the middle of the squiggly bracket, space out, and I'm going to type in margin, MARGIN, colon, 0px, semicolon. Press enter, go to the next line. I'm going to type in padding, PADDING, colon, space, 0px, semicolon. So we'll go over in detail what padding and margin is in our CSS series. So definitely skip over to those 5-minute videos. They should be about 5 to 10 minutes. And you'll learn in detail about margin and padding. Click Save, File, Save, go back to my browser, click Refresh, and boom. There we go. The white space around my header is now gone. So now we should be ready to go ahead and add our image, and then we'll be done for this lesson. You should have already downloaded a animal picture. You should have put that in your images folder underneath the Coding Zoo folder. Pause the video here. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and do so. Go ahead and download your image, put it in the images folder underneath Coding Zoo. Let's go ahead and put your cursor above the line that has your title in the header section. So in the header section, you should see your H1 tag. Put your cursor in the left side of H1, press enter to put it on the next line. Go back to the first line. And now let's type in a new tag we've never used before that specifies an image. It is IMG, so less than IMG, that stands for image. Type space, and now we want to put an attribute that tells the browser where the image is at. So SRC stands for source. SRC equals, then do your double quotes. And I know it's in the images folder because I put it there. So I'll type in images, IMAGES. Type in / and now type the name of your image. So the name of my image is Shane, SHANE.PNG. And I'm going to put another double quote to end it. And now I'm going to press a space. So image is a unique element. It's one of those elements to where you don't have to specify an end tag. You can have just one tag. So when you do something like that and just use one tag, you want to make that tag close itself. So put a / and then the greater than sign. So that's an HTML element that's made up of one tag. So I have image, and then source equals, and then I point to where my file is at, and then I have / and a greater than sign to close the tag off. Click on File, Save, go back to your browser, click Refresh, and bam, there it is. Here's my image, and boy, is it huge. Okay, so let's make the image a little smaller. That's much too big in my case. Maybe different for those at home, depending on how big the image was you downloaded. It could be a little different. So let's specify a size on this image. So let's go ahead and add a class definition for that image. So go back to your style section, and underneath your class title, make sure to the right of your closing squiggly bracket, make sure you put your cursor there, press enter again, and let's add a new class name. Let's call it .title dash, the minus sign. So .title dash PIC, picture. Press space, squiggly brackets, beginning and end. Put a line in between the two brackets. Tab out, and let's put a style. Let's put a width, WIDTH, colon, and I'm going to use a width of 60 pixels, semicolon. So your picture may be a different size. You just want to play with that number until it gets to the right size that you want it. I'm going to use 60 for my image. Yours may be 100, it may be 50, 20. You'll have to save it and refresh your browser until you get it just to the right size that you want it. Okay, so I've defined a class called TitlePic. Now I have to apply that class. So I'm going to go down to my image. Inside of my image tag, I'm going to add the attribute class. So CLASS equals, double quote, and I'm going to put the name of that class, TITLE dash, which is a minus, PIC, and then my ending double quote. Go to File, Save, go to my browser, click Refresh, and now my picture is much smaller. However, it's on the first line, and my title is on the second line. once you've done that, now you should have an image, and then underneath the image is your title. Of course, it'll look much better if we have the image next to our title. So what did we learn about div and spans in our last lesson? How do we make stuff move around? One way to do that is to specify float. So let's go back to our style section in our head element, and let's add to title pick the line underneath the width line. So I'm going to press enter here. I'm now underneath the word width. I'm going to type in float, F-L-O-A-T, colon, space, left, L-E-F-T, semicolon. Choose file, save, go back to my screen, click refresh, and boom, there it is. So now we have my picture right next to Shane's Coding Zoo introduction. Let's do this. Let's go back to NotePad, and let's also add one more property to our title-pick class. So underneath float, colon, left, semicolon, type in padding, P-A-D-D-I-N-G, colon, and I'm going to put 6 pixels. You can play with whatever number you want. Remember, it's going to put padding. It's going to put space around your picture. 6 px, pixel. And then semicolon, and then, of course, save and refresh, and you should see more space around your image. So my picture has the word Shane on it. Yours might not, but mine does. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the word Shane's from my title real quick. So I'm going to go down here and remove the word Shane's. And it's just going to say Coding Zoo Introduction. Click File and Save, because the word Shane on my picture is a little redundant. So hit refresh. There we go. So I've got Coding Zoo Introduction. I've got my picture, and my picture has, of course, has the word Shane on it. So again, if your picture is too big, you want to change the width size. Practice with many different ones. Sometimes you might run into where your text or your image goes outside of this black section, outside of your banner. If that's the case, if that happens to you, you want to go to your and it's probably good practice to go ahead and do it. Go to your header section in your styles element, and let's add one more property. So I'm going to go underneath the word padding, and I'm going to type in overflow, over, O-V-E-R, flow, F-L-O-W, one word. Type in colon, space, hidden, H-I-D-D-E-N, semicolon, and I'm going to choose save. So overflow is a styling property. It tells the header what to do, tells the HTML document what to do for the header if your elements inside of the header go past the boundaries of header. There's different properties here. Again, those properties will be covered in our CSS side videos. So definitely try to do the CSS videos on the side as we get them going. You'll learn more in-depth CSS there. Okay, so back to our web page, refresh, you won't see a big difference there. So that ends our lesson today. So now we have, our page is starting to come together, right? It's starting to look a little bit prettier. We have a nice banner at the top with a title and an image. And we've got our list from lesson 7. We have them side by side. So it's starting to look a lot prettier. So that's it for today. What do you think, guys? Pretty cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool? Kind of tough, though, huh? You guys getting it?
Yes.
Bella says it's tough. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. If you have any questions, definitely comment below. We'd love to hear back from you. We'd love to help you with this lesson in case you didn't follow anything or I didn't explain anything well. Just let me know. I'll get back to you. We're almost to the point to where we're going to take your web page, and if you want to, you can send it to us and put it on the website. So we'll do that in the next couple of lessons. That'll be fun. If you enjoyed the lesson, Definitely like it for us, and be sure to, if you haven't already, to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll know when the next lessons come out. If you have any friends, family that might want to learn how to program, definitely let them know about us, right? We'd love for as many people as possible to get a benefit out of this. So glad you could join us. Everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. See you next time. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Coding Zoo. This lesson is lesson number 8, and my dog is trying to give me a kiss. How come you always jump in our lap when we're going to film? Huh? You're just a diva. Are you a diva? Huh?
I'm really wanting for a blooper you just pop out.
She always jumps right in our lap, right when we first start. She doesn't want to jump in our lap until we break out with the camera, and then she jumps in our lap.